Hey, kids. You're listening to the internet's wettest podcast about video games, consoles, and pancakes. The SML Podcast.
Prepare for the SML Podcast.
What's up, everybody? This is the SML Podcast. I am your host, Joe. View episode. Aki's here, Chris is here, Pernell's here, and Andy Sperry is here. How is everybody doing?
Tired. Want to grab a nap. I think that might be my default setting lately, but you know.
Just nap during the podcast.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, when do you
What
go
do you think Aki does?
I'll wake you up.
Was such a hold on. Oh, yeah, buy it, whatever.
Yeah. Just get you a pillow and like your little like hat with like a cone, you know, like the floppy hat with a ball at the end. And then just like between the reviews and stuff, just be like honk shoe beep 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 beep.
Oh, the old sleeping cartoon man special.
Yes.
It's my favorite. Yeah, I've been thinking about it. Maybe I should.
Beautiful.
Maybe I should.
Oh, I don't think I only posted this in like a Thursday chat that I have with Aki, Bree, and Jacob, but I'm going to throw it in scheduling and planning for everyone to enjoy it. I'll throw it in general too. But last episode, Jacob was late, so we had the joke that we were going to make him lead on all of his reviews.
Uh-huh.
And then near the end, Bree had one by herself. I'm like, Bree, you covered this one by yourself. Jacob, start us off. What is this game? There were nearly 10 complete seconds of silence.
Nice.
I got to start doing some research.
Jacob? He's like, what?
Didn't wing it?
Beautiful.
So he didn't even try to wing it.
No, we didn't really give him enough time because I broke out laughing my head off, and I had to say my head off. We're not allowed to curse for 10 minutes. Divorce just redeemed. Well, F. Censor. Which means we cannot curse for 10 minutes.
What happens if we do?
Timer starts over.
What happens
So we can
if
just
we do it again?
I was gonna say we could just curse and then it'll be the redeem will be done 10 minutes after the show ends.
That's true. Yeah, you need
what kind of punishment can we have if you slip up?
Murder.
Murder.
Sold.
A little harsh. A little bit harsh.
Don't murder the person, just murder people they know.
Just murder.
Just
Or just someone.
For every
You ever
profanity,
see that movie, The
you
Box?
get one knife stabbed to the gut.
Well, no, you've seen the box. For every curse you make, someone you've never met will get killed.
Oh.
Aki would
Aki's just
destroy
going to
it.
spew forth a string of
Yeah.
profanities. I'm going
Cracking her
to
knuckles
kill
over there.
everybody.
I know. I almost just swore for comedic effect.
It'll be the first time bad language actually had some kind of harm or consequence.
Dun, dun, dun.
That's true.
Good stuff.
Oh.
So how was everyone
Listen,
else's weekend?
I already answered, didn't I? I think I did.
I mean, I can answer.
Chris is ready, though. Go for it. You're ready.
Never ready. So yeah, I actually my weekend was fine. It was no big deal. I did a music stream for the first time in quite a long time on my Twitch channel. So that was pretty fun.
How'd it go?
It went well. A few people showed up, and apparently the sound was good. People liked the songs. Those don't have VODs or recordings or anything, so it's one of those things where if I'm doing it, then you either catch it live or don't catch it. So, unlike my video game streams, which live on forever somehow. But anyways,
Yay, licensed music.
What?
I said, yay, licensed music.
Yeah, exactly correct. But yeah, it's nice that Twitch gives you at least the option to be like, if you're streaming under a specific category, then don't publish a VOD. So that's really nice. But anyways, so that went well. That was fun. And yesterday, Bit Brigade was in town, so I got to go see them again.
What'd they play?
Mega Man X.
Nice.
Yeah, they're finally doing Mega Man X. I remember talking to them about it like 10 years ago almost, it seems. And
wait, this is new for them? I thought I would have assumed they'd have done that eons ago because it's Mega Man X.
They wanted to years and years ago. They just they weren't really like, because the arrangements being a Super Nintendo game, like it's hard to arrange that for like just two guitars and a bass and drums. I know, I've done it myself. So they kind of like were working on it off and on forever, and then finally they're doing it. And of course, this being Bit Brigade, it's not just Mega Man X that they're playing as far as the music goes, but it is a full speedrun of Mega Man X being played live on stage while they supply the music in real time. Huh?
Did they start with Chill Penguin? I'm assuming they did, but I'm curious if they did.
Yeah, it's a real good cover too. They did it real good justice. So that was really fun to watch them and hang out a little bit again. Didn't get to hang out as much as I wanted to.
Coming to your area, check them out. A lot of people could go to a band and just enjoy a show, but the fact that they speed run a game and play the soundtrack live is such a cool experience.
Now, with that said, I still genuinely believe deep down in my gut that while the guy is capable of doing the deed, I do in my gut, until they tell me otherwise personally, that they pre-record the actual run for the concert itself. If he's having a bad day, just a bad day, the amount of time they'll have to kill recovering and just coming up with shit on the fly, you
get stabbed in the stomach.
Oh, crap. I just killed someone, didn't I?
You did.
Oh, no.
Aki, are you still alive?
Hopefully it was an ICE agent and we're safe. So, with that said...
I think Aki died. Damn.
No, Aki's still here. Because we know she's just waiting to just blast profanities at the 1 minute mark or something. So you were saying that like you've got like some confirmation that they don't pre-record it.
Yeah. I mean, I know Noah. Like, I've seen him play video games. In fact, we played video games with him in a hotel room before.
Oh, no, I'm not saying that Noah himself isn't capable of doing it. It's just the thought of being on, like, has he ever had a day where he has a bad time fighting Jack Wheel and Ninja Gaiden and makes a blunder?
Yeah, I've seen him die a couple times. Mm-hmm.
Why was my name brought up in this conversation with a bunch of dudes in hotel rooms? I'm very confused. What?
Because we thought you died when Pernell said a profanity.
Too much to explain. Just go with it.
Yeah. So, with Noah, it's like, for one, he sits on the stage. Like, you can see him pushing the buttons and things like that if you're close enough, which I have been. And the other thing is that he did die last night on Sigma Stage 1. He missed one of the floating platforms. And, they just continued playing the song. He got back there again and won at that time. I've also seen him crash out in Ninja Gaiden and in Castlevania.
Now, does someone play a death sound effect and they start the song over, or do they just keep the song going?
They used to do it a little more theatrically as far as that goes, but nowadays, because they have custom ROMs built for a flash cart that he plays from, so he plays like from an EverDrive, which is what I play from too, and it is 1-to-1 the game, but they have these custom ROMs that people make for them where it retains the sound effects but takes away the music tracks, except in particular spots where the game music is actually going for like a few seconds as part of the show.
That's really neat.
So like for instance, they sometimes they have to cool down or set up between like a stage or something, so they'll actually just have the game playing the like stage end audio or something like that, or not the stage end audio, but like the menu.
Cheaters.
It's not cheaters. It's arrangement. It's called arrangement.
Like how they're now doing like graphical edits too. Like what was it, MagFest? Yeah. They beat Mario World, and I think Dom Cerchetti's the one who like reanimated the entire ending.
Yeah, they also have like kind of custom credits at the end of Mega Man X, so they're really stepping up their game. Yeah, Dom worked on it. There's a few other names I recognized from MagFest people and just Shizzy people. Yeah, they have folks working with them behind the scenes, which is really cool. It makes the show a lot tighter and kind of feels a little bit more special. But yeah, you can definitely tell like it's the game and the guy's playing the game. I mean, he's very much, I honestly kind of feel like if they were doing a pre-recorded thing and he was up there pretending to play the game, that would actually be harder to pull off than just pulling off like a well-rehearsed speed run.
Yeah,
like just in my mind.
Because you have to remember when he died or every night.
Like when exactly did you fail?
Yeah, exactly. Like, you have to fall off the second floating platform in Sigma Stage 1 every time. And, and the band, like, they're good at reacting, or they're good at paying attention. Like, they kind of look at each other and they're like, yeah, this is happening.
I will at least say that if by some random scenario, one of them ends up listening to the show and be like, this son of a jerk. Yeah, I caught that.
No, that's fine.
I think it's worth noting that I think the fact that I can even make the claim of it being that having that sense of doubt is a good indicator of how good he is at the actual game. It's like, how is he doing that? That's impossible. Like watching him play through Castlevania was a good example. I watched them do Castlevania in Elkton, Maryland, and I remember how that game gave me all kinds of grief when I was a child. I eventually finished it, but I still have nightmares of fighting like Frankenstein and Igor and Death. And just to watch this guy go through and just like holy water like it's a joke was just it was an eye-opening experience to say the least. It undid everything I thought I knew about playing that game.
Yeah, and that's the other thing I guess about it is that they kind of don't really pick games that have any like real random or RNG elements to them, so that they can have a consistent playthrough every time. Like Castlevania is consistent. Like you absolutely can predict everything that's going to happen. And same thing with Ninja Gaiden. So it's just like memorizing the whole game and then executing, which I guess because I've been watching speedrunners for years, like do full streams where they're playing through a game, like, they'll start it over like 6 or 7 whole times. Like,
before they get the right scenario.
Oh, no, just to play through it, and then one thing goes wrong, so they reset and they do it all over again, and something goes wrong, they reset, and it's just the repetition of speedrunning is like such that you can definitely like, when somebody's got it down, it's like and of course there's a lot of speedrunning is also making backup plans, so if something goes wrong, you got exactly what you can do. There's a science to it for sure. There's an art and a science to it, but yeah. It's Noah's really
I do appreciate
really
that Pernell threw out the disclaimer that if anyone listened, because I think I have actual proof that no one does.
Well, I was saying that Bit Brigade listens.
Well, this is honest to God numbers that I'm going to tell you right now. We put out the
Why would you put those numbers out on the episode?
Because maybe someone can have some information on what's going on. We put out the Ball Squad episode, okay, with Mel Kirk of Zen, Grant, me, Bree, talking about pinball with Mel Kirk. Those episodes always do good. The MP3 numbers for that are over 100 downloads.
Okay.
That's good number. Like, that's pretty okay numbers for us. The YouTube was at 6 views. I then told a number of people about the video who either listened to it in private or even on stream. Few days pass, Our views are now at 5. It went back 1. And I don't get what's going on.
I know that was a possible thing to happen.
I guess somebody figured out that you can unsee.
Yeah. I don't
This
get.
is part of what we talked about the other day.
Yeah. My mind is just, I don't understand what is going on with our YouTube numbers because they cannot be accurate. The fact that they go backwards cannot be accurate in any way. And it's like actively harming our show. And I don't know what to do about it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where honestly, I wish I had a better understanding of how to market stuff like this. Or
have you tried covering up the preview image with red arrows?
Oh, God.
There you go.
Do it today. I want to see if numbers go up. Do it today.
Oh,
I don't care what the arrows are pointing to.
You have to explain that joke to me sometime because I'm like, what? Red arrows?
Just load up youtube.com right now and scroll down the front page and see how many red arrows or circles or stupid faces you see. Not including
me.
But I'm curious now.
Put someone's stupid face and then like
circle,
then have a red arrow,
put a big red arrow pointing to the circle,
and put that large YouTube text that says you won't believe what this red arrow is pointing to, and then just have the red arrow pointing to like nothing really, and then just see if people like click on that. I bet your views will go up by like. I bet you'll get double those 6 views.
They'll get 3.
Or just start off by saying something like Castlevania.
It would work. It would work.
The Legend of Zelda is a stupid franchise. Here's 10 reasons why. You won't believe what this guy said about Super Mario Brothers. I don't know.
Yeah. Like I pulled up our show numbers today to check out the MP3 stats because I figured if those are tanked, the show is just screwed. And our 10 minutes is up, so I could say we were fucked. All the numbers look fairly normal to positive-ish. Some one episode had like 140 downloads. It's pretty good. I think the lowest was an episode from last month that this month had 40 downloads. So even our older episodes still retain some steam. But YouTube is nothing. And I can't figure it out. If anyone has info out there, if anyone's actually listening,
have it. Okay, preview image, your own face, a red arrow pointing at it, and be like, "Can you believe what he just said about this YouTuber?" And it's actually you're talking about yourself. So
there it is. Now that's
apparently YouTube beef is big numbers. If you're worried about numbers. If you're worried about numbers, be aware of someone else on YouTube and then be mad about it, and you're going to be doing good.
I was talking to a
sound off in the comments if I'm wrong.
I was talking to a friend of ours, Pernell. You know him, Joe Yamin or Yamin, whatever. He and I were talking, and I was just venting to him about the show because he asked, like, you know, what's your show about? Do you have like a special topic or anything? Yeah, video game news, reviews. He's like, do you ever have Pernell on the show? He's been a regular for 10 years. You ever had Pernell
on the show?
Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of wild. That he's been on your panel for the last like 4.
I was like, he's been my regular reviewer for like 10 years.
He didn't know. Then again, I guess if he's just learning you had the show, then I could see that being the case at least. But.
And I gave him a link to the Ball Squad. He's one of the guys I know checked out Ball Squad. I was like, yeah, he reviews 3 games on the episode you're listening to. So but he was like, are you like mean on the show? Do you like shit talk anyone and like say Final Fantasy 7 sucks? Like, I'm not that kind of guy.
You know the saddest part?
Kind of said it once.
Wait, has he?
You just said
we were talking about Final Fantasy 6. I think we took down Final Fantasy 7 a little bit. I didn't. I like Final Fantasy 7, but
like in a general dialogue sort of way.
All out shat on it.
I think it's overrated,
not a good game.
Nah.
But
I think the sad part though is that if you were the sort of like, okay, this episode we're just going to bitch about how terrible this is. It would probably generate more because somehow people just get really caught up in that more than anything. Like, oh, negativity, sign me up. I'm like, I ain't got time for that. That's everywhere. I don't want to be on a show that's negative.
All right, guys. We already do a news and review show and a solid review show. We need to add a third weekly show called SML Bitches About.
That one I can get over.
Just a race to the bottom. We're going to get ourselves canceled.
Yeah.
Like we're going to have a race.
Because honestly, the trick would be you look for like whatever the most popular release is for within that week or two and just rage on how flawed it is or how only morons like it or why the hell do people give money to these stupid companies, blah, blah, blah. Because people love to get upset because you're upset and rage on you about it or just get upset. People are addicted to it. I don't know what's in what. But that would likely generate more reviews than, hey, we're talking about some cool news stuff or whatever.
I really feel like you're onto something.
It's the truth. I mean, hell, look at any social media thing. Look at threads for shows people actually like not like podcasts, but I mean like TV shows, like a Dexter clips thing, and just look at people say comments on there and then see everybody follow up with them bitching about how that person's the stupidest person. They don't know what they're talking about. Fucking work new, whatever. Any number of shit. It's just people are drawn to bitching about everything, even things they're supposed to like. I don't get it. I don't get it.
The internet is that proven fact that misery loves company. I mean, like you said, you go anywhere and it's just, like, I don't really like that show. And it's like, you suck, dude. You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, like there was even a thing today, like I'm not going to go into the specific like thing of where it was per se, but I was in a general thing where a website or a group that I follow posted a news comment or whatever, like a general vibe saying like, notice this is a thing. And I was like, I can totally believe that, but it'd be nice if you posted like a source for me or something, And the general thing would be to either just ignore the guy who just asked for, who made that comment, or respond to that person with what they're asking for.
Yeah.
Like the second person was like, don't you know how to Google? Or you ever heard of Google? And I was like, well, thankfully the first person was kind, so your rudeness is unwarranted, or I'm not concerned about it. And they were like, I wasn't being rude, but you're an adult and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I don't care. Like,
I love the people who say, do you know what Google is? I'm like, do you know how to shut the fuck up?
Yeah, it's like the intent is, I want to be snarky. Here's an opportunity to be snarky. I'm going to do it for no reason whatsoever. It's just people want to be mad all the time. It's the dumbest shit ever. Thankfully, that clock is done. But yeah, it's the dumbest shit ever. And I'll never understand it. I need to start picking up some psychology books, I'm sure, or reading some articles. I'm sure someone's done an actual thing on it. And I do know that we do get a rush from like basically being aggressive and countering things that go against what we're interested or our likes or whatever, which is probably why our show about why Final Fantasy VII is the worst Final Fantasy that ever Final to Fantasy would just draw tons of clicks. But to just find something and make it something to be angry about, that's another story. People crazy.
God. And I'm not that kind of guy. I don't want that kind of negativity around our show. Like with how many interviews we get, we could easily ask like gotcha questions of uncomfortable stuff that they have to answer live on a show. I don't want that. I don't want a controversy mired show. I want people to laugh on this show. I want people to enjoy their time on this show. I want guests who want to come back because they enjoyed talking with us, like Myrkur of Zen Studios.
And it goes to the reviews in that sense too. Like, it's one thing if a game comes up and it's something that seems interesting and it just unfortunately doesn't make the cut. Then yes, you're going to get a bad review, and it is what it is. But
anytime you guys give me a negative review, what do I ask?
Oh, no, I'm not even referring to that. No, I'm not even referring to that. I get what you're saying there, and that's reasonable too. But I'm saying a lot of times you'll see people make comments about why is that you never have bad reviews? Why are all your reviews good? It seems like you're bought and sold or some other stupid statement. And the answer boils down to why would someone go out of their way to review a game that, unless they believe people need to know? That's a different thing. But why would you go out of your way to take on a game that you know is going to be bad? Which means now you're putting time into a bad thing just to bitch about it on the air. It's just wasting time to waste time, and it just throws negativity out there.
Like, I could easily go out and request.
That's what gets clicks too.
I could easily go out and request shittier games for you guys to cover, but I would rather focus on highlights of the industry because we only have so much time and manpower per week. Like, we can't cover everything. So I focus on what developers auto send us and what you guys want. So if you guys want something and it turns out to be bad, that's your own fucking fault. If someone auto sends us something, like, I will never email Gilson Pontus for a game. But if he sends us one, someone's going to talk about it.
Oh, we know it's going to be me.
It will.
Hey, I've had my hit. I've had my one.
True. That's true. You're very brave.
Like, I was like, it can't be.
We can make Horror Acolyte do one.
I'll be honest with you. It would be interesting to have him do one because his writing style
That's a good idea.
would be perfect for it. He could just tell them, write the review as if it was a horror movie.
Get myself into.
It's like he writes a horror movie script in the form of a review. That would be fantastic.
You hear the record scratch. Yeah, that's me. Man. You might be wondering how we got here.
All began on a dark and stormy night. I was minding my own business, popping popcorn to watch the Friday the 13th marathon when I got an email from a certain person, a certain friend, if you will, goes by the name of, I don't know, it's J Cam. No, I'm going with Joe C. And anyway, he goes along with this prospective offer for me. I could not possibly refuse because, well, he's my friend. And, basically, long story short, he just write this cool story, throw some Edgar Allan Poe, quote the Raven in there, here and there. I don't know. And it'd be great. I think it'd be an interesting listen if it was either he spoke it or someone read it on his behalf.
No. I mean, we do get bad games on the show. Aki gets a few. A lot of Thursday stuff is questionable quality.
But therein lies the rub, though, and Aki's here, so she can answer the question herself. Is it a situation where you're like,
my name in 5 minutes?
Here, 5 minutes from now. Like, if the game comes through and you're like, hey, Aki, are you interested in checking out this game? Does she look at it and go, that looks like it's going to be horrible. That's why I want it. Or is she like, this could be good, I'll try it, and it ends up being bad. Like,
it's usually if
that?
Jacob won't take it, I'll do it.
Yep, pretty much.
And Jacob's like, if no one else will take it, I'll do it. That's how a lot of the bad games get covered on the show.
Yeah, I usually am like, if anyone else wants this, please, for the love of God, let them take this shit. I don't want anything to do with this, but if no one else will do it, absolutely no one else will do it, I guess I can take it. That's typically how I get bad games, because I'm after games that I'm like, I want this. This looks like something I'd be into. Those are the games I go for. So
that really is why Aki, she has like 2 games that she covers. It's either a really bad indie game, it's like $6, or it's like a $40 RPG.
Mm-hmm.
Or
there's nothing in the middle anymore.
I feel like that was like part of my initiation was just reviewing a bunch of bad games. Like, I think the first like 3 or 4, you were like, hey, do you want this one? And it's like Vampire Simulator, And I was like,
a lot of them, I
don't know what this is.
A lot of PC games, I legit don't know if they're good or bad because I don't follow them.
Fair.
I mean,
it's impossible, really.
Gaming. Sense.
Yeah, the PC games, you might get like 100 of them every month that are released. You're not really, you can't follow that. Every year there's around 1,000 games released on Steam, and that's just Steam. You can't follow all of them. There's just too damn many.
No, we looked it up the other day. There's like 114,000 games that are released on Steam every year. It's insane.
And they hit so
the numbers
right now we're
are
at a basketball deck builder. Like, it could be literally anything you can name. I'm looking at a basketball deck builder right now, where you're basically playing a basketball game against a card opponent using the cards.
Yeah.
Like, just anything.
Like, even on Xbox, people are like, oh,
It's
Xbox
insane.
barely has any games. Like, do you know how many games released on Xbox last week? Oh, like 4 or 5. 30.
30.
Yeah.
We can't fucking keep up with that. No one can.
And that general defense, though, not depending on the person, but the general concept, that's been a story of the oldest time. Oh, there's nothing on PlayStation. There's nothing on Xbox. There's nothing on Nintendo. Like, are you fucking dead? Just say there's nothing on there that interests you personally. And lots of the time, that's incorrect, too. It's just they won't bother to look. It's an interesting place. It's just, I don't know. There's
Carnage
too many
says
games.
apparently 40 indie games this week. And 26 of them are $4.99 with a PC stack.
With that said, if he's saying that not jokingly, I like to know where he's getting that, because it'd be nice for me to have a reliable list to read for releases every week. That's not just waiting for I Dream of Indie to post their video.
I look at True Achievements for their release schedule, but that's Xbox focused.
And if you're looking for PC stuff, they just have, if you scroll down on Steam, there's one that usually they have a list of like upcoming new games, and you can just click to view more of those, and you'll be scrolling for fucking hours.
Ever.
Yeah.
That's what I primarily use right now, but it's not as convenient if it was just on like my cell phone. Not, I know it's on the, I knew you were going to say the app or something, but like just having a general repository for like, here's every release for every system this week or whatever. Because back in the day, Kotaku was good for that.
No.
And I used to rely on that regularly. And then they got weirder. And then it became I Dream of Indie. And they've been pretty good at it. But even still, like, I'd rather just have a list instead of just going through a YouTube link or whatever. But
the other big resource I use is every Friday, news.xbox.com. They put up what's out next week. And I'll usually get the link for that, post it in our Thursday chat, and be like, who wants what? And then I'll try to get what I can.
Also, here's an example of me mentioning a game I want, but I have a bad habit of just, and you've probably seen me on my Xbox, on my Steam account, because you follow me on there. Like, I'll get to just buy this game. Like, maybe I should just start asking Joe sometimes, because I'm going to just buy another game randomly just because it looks weird. It's called Ulu. Ulu. Weird ass names. And I mean,
I literally tell you guys all the time, if there's something you want, let me try to get it for you.
The problem is I'm
always work, obviously, but if you want to put the time in and get the games, I'll do what I can to get them for you. Just don't be like Jacob and be like, oh, I want this one on the show. Or if we talk about news, he's like, I call dibs. Well, you're not fucking getting it.
Oh, yeah.
You are absolutely not getting it. If you call dibs,
I literally did
on the show.
I admit I was laughing, but I literally just mentioned Olu on the show, so I violated that rule already.
Yeah, but I don't know what that game is, so I already forgot about it.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, don't bring it again. You won't get it.
Ooh.
You'll fucking never get it, Pernell.
You'll never get it. You can't even buy it, dude.
David, it's going to fall off the store's list. It's going to fall off the store.
You'll go to buy it, and it's like, nope, can't buy it from this account.
I will also be completely honest. When I load up the next week on Xbox and I scroll down the page, there's so many games. I'm like, no. There's too much low quality, low budget indie games coming. It used to be like a few publishers who would release one game a week through a bunch of other developers. And now all those developers are self-publishing themselves. So there's just more and more and more.
It's just too much.
It is getting out of control. And it is so much worse on the Switch. I know that.
Oh, the Switch is just a cesspool.
The Switch eShop like is a flood of garbage.
Yeah, it is.
And the saddest part of all is that with the Switch 2, it finally has the processing power to actually run the eShop properly. but now their next problem is just sorting the games properly in a way where it's not just, like you said, still weeding through the garbage to get to decent titles. It's a very uphill battle there.
It is frustrating to find good stuff these days. But I'm going to take a shot here. I'm going to predict the reviews for tonight.
As in, like, you naming the games, or you're going to make your prediction before the review happens?
I'm not going to name the games. I'm just going to name 6 verdicts for the 6 games tonight. And we'll see how they work. I think it's going to be a try it leaning towards a buy it, a try it, an overwhelming buy it, a try it to a deny it area, and then a surprise favorite of the week. That's my guess.
I mean, then again, surprising to you, but I don't think this is knowing me. I know the favorite of the week is going to be. It's not a surprise to me. Maybe the Aki.
You need to write down your predictions for the games and
test yourself later.
Yeah, and just write it on the camera and then turn the card over, and then at the end of the show, show everybody what you wrote. That's how you do that.
I just said the 6 in order. So we'll just do them in order.
That's what I was saying.
Do it again.
I don't even know what.
Do it again, so I know. I'm looking at them now.
Crap! I got to buy Ulu now. I can't wait.
Well, I don't remember where mine is in that list, and I don't remember what you said, so I'm not going to, because I'm just going to do the opposite of what you say, so it's kind of like I shouldn't know what you said about mine.
Well, let's find out how I do. Let's start off. First game to talk about tonight is Echoes of the End, developed by Myrkur Games, published by Deep Silver, released August 12th on Series X and S, PS5, and PC for $39.99. Echoes of the End is a cinematic third-person action-adventure game. Blends a deeply personal, character-driven story with thrilling magic and sword-based combat, engaging traversal and thought-provoking puzzles. Inspired by Iceland, this epic adventure offers a mature, rich, and immersive experience in a breathtaking and original fantasy world. Aki, what is Echoes of the End?
All right. So, in this, you play as a young woman named Rin, and she and her brother are out being lookouts and just going around checking out the place, making sure everything is safe in this medieval, old-style fantasy realm. You're just, out being basically rangers, just checking to make sure that your borders are safe and shit. And then the Fire Nation attacks. And it ain't good. Except for they're not called the Fire Nation, but they're just as much a bunch of dicks. So, it's basically the same thing. And it turns out that Rin is what's called a vestige. They're people who have some sort of weird magic power that allows them to fiddle with these giant magical chunks of rock. No one understands it, including her herself. But apparently they're not able to touch other people because it can kill them. Somehow, game doesn't really explain that, so you're given some magical powers, not much. You can basically force push people and eventually force pull people to you and things like that. Otherwise, you're kind of just stabbing a bitch with the pointy end of a sword, and it's fantastic.
I'm so stabbing a bitch with a pointy sword.
I mean, it's true. That's what you do.
If you have a talent, right?
Exactly.
Is it easier to touch them, though? Like, if you touch them and kill them, can't you just touch them?
That's exactly what I've been thinking this entire game. Is like, why don't you just run up and slap a motherfucker and blow him into tiny bits or something? I don't know what's supposed to happen. And I'm just like...
That'd be cool.
Yeah, just walk up and slap him and just blood everywhere. That'd be amazing.
Unlockables.
Anyways, but yeah, right. But no, the Fire Nation attacks, and they have their own vestige, and somehow she is able to just outright completely destroy the crystal. The problem is these giant crystal structures are seemingly keeping the land stable. So immediately after she destroys one, the ground shakes and twists and then collapses into giant ravines, So instead of everything being nice flat lands, now there's chunks of it that has dropped over 30 feet and stuff, so it's real bad. Completely changing the layout of the land. She's a walking earthquake. That ain't okay. So you go out and you decide, well, these people aren't respecting our borders, so I guess I shouldn't respect their privacy and personal bubbles anymore, especially with the pointy end of my sword. And, you go out to go kill them. And they end up taking your brother hostage and trying to kill you, clearly failing, because this is a game and therefore it continues. So
what?
Yeah, I know, right? Crazy. So you spend the entire game trying to catch back up with them, wiping them out as you do, while trying to get your brother back and trying to prevent them from gaining access to some crazy weapon, possibly thing. You're not really sure that's from this even more ancient society called Haven that everyone just disappeared one day. There's no records. There's records from when it first started, and then suddenly there was a war, and that's all you know. There was a war. There's nothing about during the war or after the war. Everything just ends there. And so they know there was a siege, and then it just all disappears at that point until you guys show up, apparently. So the bad guys are trying to get down there, and you're like, I don't know why. I guess there's maybe some weapon they're trying to find, because this is some crazy old shit and they have crazy magic powers and stuff. I don't know. So you're off to go stop them, because, no one likes the Fire Nation because they're a bunch of assholes. And, yeah. So throughout the game, you're killing people and you're occasionally finding chests that give you collectibles, basically. Either they're notes or they just give you an item that is also basically a note because you can't interact with any of it. All of this gives you a little bit of experience, and then obviously killing enemies gives you a bunch of experience as well. You can use that to level up. You have a few different trees, 4 of them to be specific. One's for interactions with your companion character, which ends up being this old guy from yet another country. He came here to meet with your character's father, who died some time ago. And he's basically a scholar. So you get an upgrade tree that just basically gives him some new abilities and how they interact with your character's magic. You have a tree that's basically, here, let me have health. You have a tree that's magic, baby magic. And then you have one that's stab them in the no-no place. So 4 great trees. Have fun with them. There are achievements for unlocking everything in each individual tree. I don't know if you can do them all in a single playthrough. I'm really hoping you can. We'll find out, because I have not beaten the game yet. And you get to fight monsters and the Fire Nation, and it's great. Any questions from the Peanut Gallery so far?
I'm gonna go off a few things on the store page. It mentions the Icelandic landscapes with the lava fields, the icy mountain peaks. Visually, how does this game hold up?
This game is absolutely fucking gorgeous. This is a beautiful game. My only issue that I've found with it is when you go into dark areas, it does not shy away from, a dark area. Let's just make everything black, which is not how dark areas are. At least not for me. I don't know if it is for any of y'all, but I see perfectly fine in the damn dark. So.
Are you a bat?
No, I photophobic and blue eyes combined together to give me very good night vision.
So you're a mutant.
Yeah, basically.
Cool.
So you go into dark areas and you can't see shit, which really bothers me. And when there's bright areas, they are not against putting all the bloom and all the bright bullshit, all that stuff right in your face constantly. So it kind of makes it a pain in the ass when you're going from like the outside into a cave or from a cave into the outside. It blinds you either with light or with dark, which is a big pain in the ass. But otherwise, it is an absolutely gorgeous game. Like, even the character, you can fucking see all the individual strands of hair and shit. It's insane the amount of detail that seems to be put, especially into the characters. The environment doesn't have quite as much in it, probably because they only have so many polygons they can use, and most of them were used on Rin's hair. But yeah, it's very pretty. There's lots of different landscapes, from ancient cities that have been long since abandoned into ruins, to these great mountain tops, to lava pits, which I actually just recently got to in my playthrough so far, where, you know, you're underground and there's lava everywhere, and don't step in it because it hurts like a motherfucker, as I found out.
How are the combat? The store page mentions that you harness magic and swordsmanship to defeat epic boss battles and defeat unique enemies.
I hate you. I knew that was coming. I knew it. I was praying it wasn't happening, and I knew it. I hate you. I hate you so much. The combat is basic. It's very basic. Because you have a standard attack, and then through your tree you unlock some new moves. For your sword, you get a heavy attack that requires magic to use, because apparently you just can't grab it with both hands and swing really hard and that be a heavy attack. Instead, you have to infuse magic in it. And you get a second version of that, which allows you to basically swing. Instead of just going straight up and down, it goes horizontally and attacks multiple people. But again, it requires magic. And then you get also upgrades to, you know, how long your combo is and stuff. And your magic is much the same. Your push gets changed to, you know, you can hold the button and then it basically pushes in a circle around you instead of just right in front of you, which is actually a very useful skill to have, is that circle one, because the other one kind of sucks.
What about the combo combat with Abram? Because the store mentions that you team up in combat and traversal, unleashing creative combos and interactions.
Abram is... He's the old guy, for everyone who doesn't know, that I mentioned earlier. He that's not particularly impressive. He doesn't do a ton of damage, especially against bosses. Against bosses, he's absolutely fucking useless. He does the tiniest sliver of damage. Even do you have to keep him
alive, or is he just just ignore the fuck out of him?
I don't even know if he gets damaged.
Oh.
So against normal enemies, he's okay-ish. He doesn't take a lot of damage off of them, but usually one enemy will at least focus on him, or he'll slow them down somehow, which means you aren't always getting as swarmed by enemies, which is nice. However, during combat, there is something to be aware of. When you decide to do something, you're going to do it. Which I know sounds like no shit, of course, but I mean, like, if you tap the attack button 3 times, you're doing 3 attacks. It doesn't matter if you do 1 attack, 2 attack, and you're like, oh shit, let's dodge. No, you push that button the 3rd time, you're doing the 3rd attack, and you're gonna get hit. Deal with it. So that's something to keep in mind. You cannot just keep hitting buttons and praying that you're gonna survive combat, because you're not. You need to hit it just as many times as you mean to, and usually that answer is 2. And then you typically that's what I found in most cases. You hit them twice, you get the fuck out the way because you're about to be bonked right back. Even though your
a lot of games
combos are like
that.
Yeah. The irony is all your combos are like 5 attacks long, and it's like, yeah, you don't get to do that very often unless you want to lose a lot of health. Because they'll be staggered the first 2 hits, and then they'll rear up and just bitch slap you while you're doing your third one. So you don't do a full combo, you're just gonna get hurt. Yeah.
Let's talk price. $40. Thoughts?
I am 100% for this. I really enjoyed this game. I really adore this. This is a great game. Go get it, folks.
Very good. I was off on that one. I said try it, leaning towards a buy it. I thought
this is definitely a buy it.
I thought the Eurojank and the price might have dropped it down a few points for you, but seems like the game
almost
more than made up for it.
Some of the platforming is seriously Eurojank shit, but because sometimes you have to dodge things that are moving real quick, and it's like, as for Horror Acolyte, they were asking, are the controls really responsive at least? They are extremely responsive. If you lightly tap something, you're going to be going. You move very easily. You dodge around very easily when you dodge. Everything is very quick to do stuff. The only problem is everything is swung as though it is being used a really heavy weapon. So you always follow through. If that answers your question, Horror Acolyte.
All right, let's move on. Next game, Shantae Advance.
Shantae.
Risky Revolution, developed and published by WayForward, released August 19th, Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, PS4, PS5, and PC, $24.99. There's also a deluxe edition with 3 additional costumes for $34.99. WayForward says those costumes will not be offered separately. So if you want them, you got to grab that deluxe edition. Shantae is back in a new 20-year in the making adventure. The nefarious pirate Risky Boots has a groundbreaking new plan that will leave Sequinland spinning. By rotating the continent, she can move any town right to the coast for easy plundering. As Shantae turn the tectonic tables on Risky by taking control of the land itself. Shift, twist, navigate, and explore by swapping between mix and match multi-layered levels. Pernell, tell us, what is Shantae Advance Risky Revolution? Shantae?
Well, it's well, I'm not going to do that, but I love that you stick with the shtick. Good shtick.
Dude, that's from like single digit days.
For as long, yeah, but as long as I've been on here, you've been doing it, so I know it's a thing. Just that everyone's went back that far. But in the case of this particular game, you play as the half genie Shantae, the genie guardian of Scuttletown, who was just minding her own business, helping her uncle with, building a pirate wind repulsion device when she gets word of some crazy antics that are being performed by Risky Boots underground. This results in you going after her. Things happen. And as a result of that incident, you come to realize the scheme that Joe mentioned earlier on is underway. And now your goal is to stop her by locating 3 relic hunters in hopes of them coming up with a way to stop the device. But of course, Risky's not having that. Risky sends her 3 hench goons after them and captures them, thereby locking them in labyrinths, which results in you having the game that you are henceforth playing. Rescue the relic hunters, stop Risky, and save the day. Traversal in this game, it's not traditional Metroidvania in the sense that it's having one large interconnected world, whereas instead, this game is broken out into many levels, being you might go to a location that you fly to on Sky's giant bird hatchet. Once you get to the location, you are exploring this locale to fulfill various, MacGuffin obligations. These locations could have many dungeons or many areas you can explore, but regardless of how many or how large these areas are, The movement is very straightforward. Shantae has the ability to run, jump, beat crap, beat jerks up with her hair, crawl, and eventually gains the ability to transform into various creatures. Each of those creatures providing her with an ability that can be used to further explore the environment. The thing that is unique to this game compared to other Shantae games, though I might be wrong about that in regards to maybe Risky's Revolution or Risky's, whatever the one that was on Risky's Revenge or whatever. I don't remember. It's been a while. But in this particular game, on every level, there is a device, some that you have to activate for story reasons, and others you activate in order to progress the story itself and beat the level itself. You press a button that's hidden on the level, and it shifts the background of the level in a sort of rotation fashion, and results in it being shifted in a certain level of degrees. Let's just call it like 90 degrees. Okay. So the levels themselves, that's funny how I'm describing this in a weird way, but the levels themselves are essentially cylinders. They wrap on themselves. And when you hit the button, the inside cylinder rotates about 90 degrees. What this means is the level itself hasn't changed, but there are doors on the level that you go from the foreground to the background and vice versa. And due to the rotation of the map, those interaction points have changed, resulting in you getting access to places you couldn't, or potentially activating a device, for example, that might make water fall from the top of the screen. But now that you've rotated the map, the water is actually falling at a different area of the map, resulting in various puzzle-like hijinks. Make the water run down the water wheel to open the door, for example. This honestly is a lot more fun than I would have given it credit. At first, I was like, this seems like it could be a pretty just lazy way to reuse two planes of level to extend your time playing it. And then, long story short, kind of spoiling the end result of my review, I beat the entire game in one sitting. Like, I played through the entire thing all night on Saturday, when I originally just wanted to boot it up to see, get started on it and maybe play a little bit more on Sunday or Monday. Nope, played the whole damn game. Because this mechanic is actually pretty fun in a puzzly sense. I enjoyed going back to areas to find things I might have missed, whether because of a power-up that I was lacking, or because I get to the end of the level, come back out and realize I was missing a squid or two that I could have accessed with the abilities I had, so I have to go back and do that. And then the funniest thing of all, and I think is a nice element that this game has to it, is that I always found myself thinking, well, I don't want to forget that secret item there. I'd better go and get the thing that lets me get it now before I forget about it and then not be able to 100% the game, which would be a problem. It had the hooks in me, basically. And the dungeon exploration, which are dungeons that exist and like sub areas within the main levels you go to, are also fun. They have a sort of 2D Zelda-esque vibe to them, where you're exploring them using your various abilities and the means of attacking jerkbags to potentially find a transformation hidden within the level itself. Some heart squids, which can be used to upgrade your character. I don't even think you upgrade anything. I don't remember doing anything with them. I just collected them. I never remember trading them in for anything, but I got all of them. And eventually your goal is you'll find keys to open doors to get further into the level, sometimes from like enemy smashing rooms. You have to defeat a bunch of enemies in one swat, or it might be a little puzzle room or whatever. And then ultimately you're finding the wing nut, which is the game's equivalent of the boss room key, to use it to activate the elevator that goes down to the boss room, at which point a boss fight will ensue, defeat the boss, rescue the relic hunter, progress the game to gain access to the next island after fixing the problem that resulted from the world-shifting nonsense that was plaguing the area that you were in. You'll do this multiple times until the game wraps up. And when you're done, you'll feel good about yourself because you just played a very fun game. It is clearly a Game Boy Advance game, which is fine by me because, frankly, the Game Boy Advance was one of my favorite console eras. So it was fun to kind of revisit that in a brand new, air quotes, game. So more power to that.
Shantae game.
The Lost Shantae game. And I did not play it on the original mode. I did play it on, they called it story mode, which is the same game, but with some graphical enhancements and such. I'm not sure if they made any other changes to the game. I assume they might have because I came across a character named Vaporware Wolf who wanted a cartridge that was lost for 22 years. So I assumed that character was put into the new version of the game, but I could be wrong. And I believe we are going to be talking to someone from this game down the line, right?
We hope so. We are absolutely trying to set something up. All comes down to scheduling. So fingers crossed it happens.
And if it does, that question is going to get asked because I was like, I wonder if this was put in there for the game. It just seems too on the nose.
I'm going to ask if they plan on bringing the first game to Xbox. That's the only one that's not there.
I mean, who knows? Maybe. Honestly, wait. I didn't know the first game was on other things that weren't the Game Boy or like maybe Nintendo Online or something.
It is on Switch and PlayStation.
Huh. I need to look in it. I've never played the original Shantae before, but I will say that I like this game enough that when I finished the game, I got 100% clear, by the way. I immediately went back to start playing Shantae and the Seven Sirens. So it's like, I need to play more Shantae because I liked this Shantae that much. And as you can attest to how many games I'm juggling and whatnot and my time to play games, that is a testament to how much fun this game is that I was like, nope, shelve some shit. I got to play more Shantae right now. And I do feel like the abilities of the characters are fun to utilize. And you do get you get the ability to find upgrades for each of the characters, though for the most part, all the upgrades are required to beat the game. So it's not like they're hidden extras, but it's still fun to get them and go, oh boy, I upgraded my crab and now he can drop landmines. So it's like kind of fun to do that kind of thing too. All in all, though, because I've been rambling like crazy, hopefully I actually explained the game to people like, what the hell is a Shantae? But I think this game is fantastic. Lots of fun. And I wholeheartedly recommend it in the general. So I think I'll stop because I know you're going to be like, Pernell, even asked the damn question. So you should do that.
25. Verdict.
Absolutely a buy it. Though, to preempt you on the costume thing, you already know how I feel about costume DLC, and I'll even explain what it does in the game proper real quick. You get the choice between 3 costumes. There's a Relic Hunter costume, the Sizzle Armor costume, and the High Voltage costume. Each of those gives you a slight damage bump. Actually, I don't even know if it's slight because I have no way to tell you I have no way of knowing how much of a damage increase you get. But it gives you a damage increase in one of Shantae's 3 accessory attack items you can buy at the store in the game. And since the DLC was given to me, I, of course, used one of them. I used the High Voltage one, which gives you a bump to the Storm Puff attacks. And you cannot change the costume during your playthrough. It's a one costume per file thing. So that's your call to make which one you want to use. And I put it to use because I had it, but I can tell you right off the bat, and I can double down on it after getting the DLC for the review. I personally don't see this being a $10 thing. I know other people aren't like me. And if that is the case, I will at least tell you the costumes look cool on Shantae. I was happy to use the costume, but $10 is
not a necessity.
Yeah, it is $10. I'm not misremembering the difference in price.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely don't feel like it's worth $10 for 3 costumes that have minimal impact on the game. If it comes out on a sale at some point, yeah, knock yourself out.
What about the fact that the costumes won't be sold separately? Does that impact things?
If anything, it makes me even less so because it just elicits FOMO. So, no.
Fair enough. Called that one a buy it.
Yeah, the game is definitely a buy it, though. It's great.
It's in about 1.5 for 2 right now. That's close on the first one. Next up, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tactical Takedown, developed and published by Strange Scaffold, released May 22nd on Steam for $19.99 and hit Xbox, Series X and S, and Switch August 14th. Splinter and Shredder are dead. The end. Andy, what's your verdict? Now, help the Ninja Turtles tackle deadly new threats and the approach of adulthood in this fast-paced, turn-based beat-em-up. All right, Andy, tell us, what is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tactical Takedown?
I gotta figure out like what you're gonna say for my games next time, or like give you a just be like, hey, let me introduce it, because half the time I'm like, I wrote like half of that in my intro.
Well, check the Steam page. I usually just use that.
Check it. So Splinter, Shredder are dead. New threat named Karai. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but Karai enters the picture. Basically taking charge of the Foot Clan. I believe Karai is Shredder's daughter. I don't know. I watched Ninja Turtles growing up, but I never got deep into the story. So any Ninja Turtles fans, I apologize. Paul East X, I'm sorry, buddy.
Son of a...
But yeah, so takes over the Foot Clan. Basically sets them out on a new mission. I'm trying, man. I'm trying. But I'm also I've read some of the comic books too, and I watched the cartoon, but I'm just not super familiar with the timeline. So it's somewhere later in the series. They're becoming more mature turtles, going out, kind of doing their own thing, fighting solo, reporting back to each other. It's not the same team up that you would think, or you're used to. They're not quite that kind of tired middle mutant Ninja Turtle vibe yet, running errands for their wives, I'm more familiar with the Saturday Morning Teenage Turtles. So the dialogue kind of hits in the story sense a little bit darker, a little bit harder. They're going through some more emotions, they're dealing with loss, and they're also fighting the battle solo in this one. So, I kind of found that interesting, and I was talking to you the other night. You probably don't remember, but I'm used to Ninja Turtles fighting as a team. They go into the battle together. I mean, Raphael kind of does his own thing sometimes, but for the most part, they're a tight knit group. And I also haven't played a ton of tactical based fighting games. There's a few that I enjoy, but I think some that would come to mind is like Final Fantasy Tactics, or I played one recently. It was like a Metal Slug tactics game, But so I figured there would be a team to deal with these bad guys, but that doesn't happen in this one, and I felt like it would have been a perfect opportunity to kind of implement that. So. It's also nice because some of the fights in this game go anywhere between like a 1v1, to I think the most I saw on screen was basically a 1v20 different enemies too. Like it really builds up in between rounds if you're not taking care of characters. So backup would have been much appreciated, but also, this is apparently the first ever turn-based turtle game, so maybe they're kind of testing the waters a bit on the game mechanics. Honestly, I could see some maybe like DLC in the future. Maybe do like an arc of the younger years, alternate storylines. They have some cool mechanics in the game, so maybe implement maybe what is it, the turtle bus? What's that thing called? The turtle car, dude.
The van. What?
Did
it have
van?
The party wagon? It's the party wagon.
Party wagon. There we go.
Is it the party wagon? Okay, there you go. Yeah, like something like that in a level would be really tight. But so since each turtle is split up, it gives you a kind of a different level theme for each characters. You got the sewers, you got the rooftops, you got the subway, you got the city streets. They all come with their own level of hazards and kind of mechanics set with a really nice, the whole game has a really nice shaded comic book style, which I enjoyed. Each area kind of deals with their own thing too. So like the sewers is a much smaller, deals with much smaller pathways. You get poison damage areas. City streets have falling debris and cars that speed by that can damage you or enemy units. You have the rooftops, which parts of the levels will just fall away, and subways, which also kind of fall away too. So it's like in itself, not only dealing with the enemies, but also dealing with the level designs too. So each turtle that you play as also has a stat of 6 health, and sometimes levels will have pizzas or hot dogs, kind of thrown out, which appear, and you can gain back some of that health. fights continue on the levels, and they change. New areas pop up in green. The old areas pop down in red, and so you kind of know, like, I got to get to the next spot before this previous area drops down, and it can take you out, losing a life. You have 3 lives in the game, or it can take out all the enemy units too. It's really nice if you kind of get the enemy units to all hang out in the red zone, and then they drop away, and you're left with whatever new enemies you have to deal with. But basically, you want to go through juggling enemies, their attacks, their movement can be a bit tricky to learn. So learning each turtle movement can be very beneficial. Each turtle, you gain 4 moves, and you also have a movement option. With that, a total of 6 action points are gained during the start of each turn, essentially, where you can perform attacks and move. Each turtle has their own build and movement patterns, but they're all similar enough to kind of categorize into essentially like a basic attack, a heavy attack, a ranged, and a special attack too. Some attacks will give buffs like increased attack power or a boost to their evasion, which is very beneficial too if you have a lot of enemies nearby. Some attacks will kind of stop or like root the enemy into place. Some can even juggle and chain attacks together, which is very beneficial for kind of movement and also taking enemies out. Chain attacks are also really good because they build up action points towards a special attack too, which could do anything from increasing that turtle's attack power or deal damage or stick a lot of enemies in basically stick them in place. Completing the levels give an overall high score. You've got a friendly leaderboard to compare how good you did to your friends. Got some points that you get for each level you do. They kind of have like a generalized, like, this level you should shoot for this score. I don't know how anybody got those scores. It was like 40,000 is like the good score to get on this level, and I'm getting like 11,000, and I was like, oh, I don't even understand how this works, so hitting some of those numbers was a little bit difficult. But if you do really well, you get kind of this like currency that you can use outside of levels to buy like new moves for the turtles or like soundtrack options too. None of the moves really seemed that interesting though. Like I said, a lot of the attacks are like the basic attacks you get like with each Ninja Turtle is pretty good. So I didn't really switch too much up with it, but I definitely checked them out and explored them. It's got overall like a really nice feel. Like I said before, it's got a really cool, edgy comic book aesthetic. The soundtrack is fun, especially with like so it's also got it's got the unlockable tracks, but the game also has like a remix mode too. So if you want to go back, you want to play a level again, you don't necessarily have to play it the same way you played it previously. So that gives you a little more replayability, I guess, for it. Personally, in the game, I felt like the combat was a little one-sided toward the Foot Clan. There's a bunch of different styles of enemies. You've got your basic Foot Clan soldiers. You've got like your kind of big brutes. You got the little robot guys that shoot stuff at you from afar, and a couple of other ones. There was like a Shadow Clan too. And I just feel like it was like I mentioned at the beginning. It was like anywhere between 1v1 to 1v like 20. In between each like section of the rounds, more Foot Clans show up, and so you're constantly getting bombarded with more and more enemies until you finish the game. The levels usually go on until you get through about, I don't know, maybe 10 or 15 minutes of battles. And then it's hard to gauge because some levels like kind of progress and some levels stay as just one area. But I would say about 10, 15 minutes between levels. And usually there's like an enemy, like a specific enemy you have to kill too. but you have to kill that specific enemy while also like avoiding the attacks of the ever increasing number of like Foot Clan members that are coming at you too. So I don't know. It just felt a little overwhelming, but I don't know. I never failed a level too, so I guess there's that side of it where I'm just either really good or just got lucky. So, but yeah, I'm not a huge turn-based battle mechanics fan. I feel like it's very weird to be like, all right, now you hit me. Okay, now I'll hit you. Haha. But it was like the strategy in this one specifically was actually like pretty fun. So I do like the tactics games because they feel a little more strategic than just like, all right, let's trade blows, kind of thing. So but I'd say overall it's a pretty fun game. It's well put together. I didn't encounter any like weird things. You could play it on controller if you want. You can play it on mouse and keyboard. I think it's easier on mouse and keyboard because you can kind of like shift the level around and like see things that are going on. I mean, there's not like a ton to look at, but for the most part, yeah, I would say it's a pretty enjoyable experience. Pretty fun game.
All right. Well, do you think this is something that would be better on PC over console?
I think so because I think just on the controller aspect, I tried controller at first, and it was a little goofy. Just to be honest, I mean it's one of those games like you're trying to like utilize the point and click method like a lot and like move around a lot. So I would say yeah, definitely a PC over console for sure. Yeah.
Well, the good thing is if you pick it up on Xbox, you get the Xbox PC version as well. $20 on Tactical Takedown. What is your official verdict?
Well, it's currently on sale too, I think on Steam too. So I'm leaning toward, and not just because you said this earlier, I remembered. I'm leaning toward try it to buy it. If you're really into like those kind of tactical games, I would say the one thing that really got me was I would play maybe 2 or 3 levels and just kind of get bored with it. And I think that's maybe just because I don't normally like lean toward this style game.
No.
You know what I mean? But I would say like I would do maybe 2 or 3 levels and then I would go do something else and then I would come back and like play it again, and each time it was like enjoyable experience. So yeah, I would say try it or buy it.
Well, my guess was a try it, so got that one too. Next up, nice. Supraworld, developed and published by Supra Games, released August 15th. Steam Early Access for $29.99. Be tiny in a handcrafted toy world. Explore, solve puzzles, ignore the main quests, get out of bounds, find secret areas, convict murderers, hunt for powerful new abilities to unravel this vast interconnected world, and don't forget to save the princess. Pernell and Aki, both you covered this. Who wants to start?
Okay.
I'll give it to Aki because she's probably trounced it by now.
Sure. Yeah. Totally.
I'm saying I think you probably got pretty far in it or beat the game.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did not beat the game. Did not beat the game. I tried. I did not succeed. Okay, so in this, you play as a Lego figurine, kinda, sorta thingy. I'm not exactly sure what the hell you're supposed to be, but you are obviously a toy in a toy world. And you are a puzzle solver, or at least you're attempting to be one. You've gone to school, and today is apparently basically your final. And the prior one shoots off the princess into basically a giant jail cell, and it's up to you and the other individual that is also taking this to go and save her. And whichever one of you manages it will be the puzzle solver. Dun dun dun! You're an NPC. Everyone can. That's how everyone sees you. You're just a stupid, useless NPC, and the other character is the player character. So they're going to clearly win this, except for this player character's fucking useless. So you start off without even the ability to jump. You can't do shit. So you have to go around and find coins that are scattered throughout the land, as well as these little Kinder egg looking things. And when you pop those open, most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time, they give you a skill that you can then buy. They range from being able to run and jump to... I don't actually remember. There were so many, but those were like the two really important ones to me. You can't even get out of the first area until you learn both of those two. So, yeah. And this game is all about solving puzzles. That's realistically, what this game is. There's not a whole bunch of anything else. There's a little bit of combat, but it's bad and kind of not necessary, realistically speaking. And yeah, the puzzles range from anything from, oh, here, flick this switch, it sends electricity down the line. You have to get, and it will open this door, but it will only open it for so long, then it shuts. So you have to get down there, which doesn't sound like much of a puzzle until you realize you also, as I said, you have to find the ability to fucking run. Until then, you can't. Or, hey, here's this puzzle that requires you to figure out how to get a coin into this room when there are magnets near near one opening, and the other opening has a guy who kicks you away, so you can't get a coin in there. How do you get it in? Oh, you slide it into this hole that's in the building, and then you get everyone to equip magnet hats so it'll drag it into the building for you. That is the outside of the box type of thinking that this game thrives on. And if you can't do that, you're going to be like me and you're going to get stuck and you're going to feel like a dumbass, and it's great. So yeah, I legitimately solved some of the puzzles by just breaking the fucking game. I
think that's kind of the point, considering they say to like get out of bounds.
It kind of is. There are solution or puzzle police, I think is what they're called. And basically they determine whether you solved a puzzle through illicit means or not. And sometimes if you do things in the way you're not supposed to, like if you get an egg out of an area in a way that you're not supposed to, they might kick it back into that area because they're little shit heels.
Wait, that happened to you?
Yeah, that happened to me twice. However, for them to do that, you have to get the egg close to them. And the first time I did it, they had just appeared, and I was like, oh, maybe they have a quest for me, because most of these little puzzles you have a quest. Someone standing right there like, hey, do this, or hey, you did a great job. So I walked up and they kicked it, and it just disappeared. And I was like, I spent the last hour and a half trying to figure out how to get that out of that room, you motherfucker. What happened to the egg? And I had to eventually respawn it back in the area because I could not find it anywhere. I was like, oh, these little motherfuckers. And the next time I got it out, I just stayed far away from those two assholes and just went. And the other time they kicked it, literally after I got it out, they were literally right there. And it automatically was placed back where it belonged. So it didn't really bother me all that much. But some of these, you get the ability to hit things really hard, usually allowing you to flip switches or push buttons that you otherwise can't interact with because you're not strong enough. There's a whole bunch of different sections to this game. Each area is clearly blocked in one way or another, and you have to figure out what upgrade or ability or some other mechanic is required to get into that area. Like, from the very beginning area, as I said, in order to get out of it, in one direction, you have to learn how to jump, because otherwise you can't get out of there. And then there's another one, first opening area, and I don't know how to get through it because it's a big red door, and it looks like it's a door for like a pet to get through. I have no idea how to open it because strength has not mattered. So I'm like, I don't know. I'm too stupid to figure this out. And yeah, Pernell, anything from you?
So what I'm going to lead with is right off the cuff. I don't even remember when it was. It was like basically maybe at least 2 years ago. Because after I got the Steam Deck, I blind purchased Supraland, not knowing a whole lot about it, except a few people randomly saying it's worth buying. You should try this game, and I thought it was fantastic. The way this guy crafts puzzles and the way he writes for his characters hits all the notes for me in a way that I can't even explain. And I feel like this game is more of that on steroids. I freaking love it. And as far as the puzzles go, there is something to be said that wasn't conveyed about how the puzzles are in this game, and that everything in this game feels deliberate. And what I mean by that is you might come across a situation where you're trying to skulk past a series of Lincoln logs and you see a small gap in the floor that in any other game would be just them doing that because it was just easy to produce it that way. And this game is actually intentional and it means something. You might come across a situation where you see a ledge well across the way. How am I supposed to get to it? There's no platforms leading to it. And then you notice a very small sliver of wood hanging off the edge of the platform you're on that looks like it could just be a graphical glitch. It's intentional. And you can get on that with a very fine balance, jump and dash with just the right amount of height to land, and you'll get like, it can either be like an upgrade to an ability or something dumb, just like, here's a coin, but the game will tell you found a secret area. And the guy is a guy that will actually tell you, this is how many secret areas you've missed in the last area you've been to. And
Yeah,
I'm going to tell you
that's
something.
the prior puzzle person that gives you your quest. That's who's actually telling you that stuff.
And that guy is a pain in my ass because I'm going to tell you something. I spent in the starting area, I must have spent like 3 hours there trying to find every
so much more than that.
tiny thing in that zone. And then when I left, because like, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to move on. I'll come back later when I feel like it. That bastard was waiting for me and said, you've missed 15 secrets. Like, you son of a bitch. I went back. I had to find more because I can't just let this man tell me that. And the funny part is I came to later realize, I think in some cases, they might be secrets you can't access yet. But it didn't phase me. I went back to look. But it's
like, good scrub.
It's so engaging, though. Like, everything feels well earned. If you find anything, if you solve any puzzles, you feel good about yourself. These are not Zelda puzzles where Nintendo throws them in and it's like, oh yeah, they're kind of clever, but you're going to solve them because they're all freaking simple at the end of the day. This game, everything feels special. Everything you find feels great. I adore this game from the bottom of my soul. Like, this was the one that I was like, you were like, I think it's going to be a surprise game of the episode. It's no surprise to me because I already played Supraland and then came and this. Like, I know as long as they do a good job with this compared to that, I'm content. And they pulled it off. This is everyone who's okay with being frustrated with trying to solve platforming puzzles should play this game. And that is not even a joke. It's wonderful. The way they craft the world you explore feels imaginative too. When you're leaving the first section of the game, you're like, it's a place they call Floor Town because the whole game takes place in a giant kids' room, essentially. Almost in a humorous way, one of the first abilities you get is the ability to jump. And you like, okay, I can jump, and there was a platform over there that
jump in this game?
Well, yes, once you find it. But anyway, the point is, once you find that ability, you're like, okay, I should be able to leave this area now and move onward. I have the ability to jump. You go over to the place you're supposed to leave, and you can't jump high enough. And the platform you're trying to jump on is a book. And the spine on the book says, the hero who can't jump high enough. It's something just dumb about that made me feel good to see it. This is a wonderful freaking game. And I always felt like I was pulling something amazing off when I found a coin or a secret area or the secret area, which is a real thing.
I haven't found that one yet.
Game.
Right.
I wouldn't. It does not surprise me because there's too many secrets in this game. It's so good.
All right, like let's talk. No, you're done. You're done. You're done. Too much. We can't give them the world. Supraworld clocks in at $30, and to my surprise, there are 0 uses of the word unique on the store page. But they do call it a first-person puzzle Metroidvania. Unique. So I knew that would get Pernell to enjoy it. $30 verdicts on this one.
In this case of this game, I'll allow it because I love it that much. So in your face. The easiest buy it I've given all year. And I will even follow up by saying also buy Supraland.
Yeah, this one, I'm going to have to say, if you don't like puzzles, probably not for you because you're going to be smacking your head against this. So this game isn't for Jacob. But for everybody else, I think this has a wide variety of difficulty when it comes to puzzles that makes it really fun. And it's not going to stump just stupid people like Jacob. It's going to stump everybody. So that's really nice. So I'm totally for it.
Very good. I had this an overwhelming buy it.
Oh yeah, for sure. I fucking love this game. I think I spent like over 10 hours on it the very first day I played it.
All right.
So,
that's honestly why I thought you'd be where you were, because Joe messaged me and he said, Aki's already played 10 hours. And I said, how is she able to do that? And then I booted it up and I was like, that's how she did shit.
Yep.
All right, let's move on. Next game, The House of the Dead 2 Remake. Developed by MegaPixel Studio, published by Forever Entertainment. This one released August 7th on the Switch for $24.99. In February 2000, a small city was suddenly overrun by hostile creatures. 2 AMS agents, James Taylor and Gary Stewart, were sent to investigate. Upon arrival, they noticed the situation resembled the Curian Mansion incident from '98. Determined to uncover the source of the infestation, they began shooting their way through hordes of creatures. They just started blasting these. Chris, tell us about House of the Dead 2 Remake.
All right. House of the Dead 2. So this is an on-rail shooter, an arcade favorite of many, many years. You may have also played some of the home ports of it back in the day. It was a light gun game originally, which is very important for this review to know. This is a game that I would say is like one of those gaming like absolute essentials. Not just for it being like a particularly good game. I mean, it is, but I think it's one of those games that you need it in your gaming. There's no counter for you need. It's one of those that you need in your gaming diet to like understand where the cross sections of like jank and brilliance kind of are, because the cutscenes, the voice acting, it's all scuffed. Always has been since day one. It is the charm. That is the charm, though. It's not that it's it's not that it's really good or like intentionally bad. Like who knows what it really is, but it's like it's some of the most quotable like bad lines in video games. James, go and prevent the confusion in the city. Suffer like G did, things like that. People quote that to this day. This is House of the Dead, particularly 2, is a legend for that, but also for being a very, very good light gun game. So what this remake is kind of bringing is kind of a post light gun attempt at recreating that kind of magic, so what they gone and done is it is the same game, basically from the ground up, as far as like the gameplay goes and everything like that. I mean, the zombies are popping out in the exact same places they always have, the same Civilians are going to get right in your goddamn way, exactly the way they always have, so that you shoot them dead and burn up your bonus. And, the voice acting, if it's not the exact same voice acting, but kind of like the audio's cleaned up, then it at least is like a very good approximation. I couldn't tell the difference for anything. So, but yeah, the actual graphics are very cleaned up now, like brand new polygons, brand new textures. The zombie models are looking good. People got, pores in their skin and like, individual hairs sometimes, things like that. Not all of them look great, but, they never were going to. The zombies look great now. Little worms on the ground are looking great. But it still is very much the bones of House of the Dead 2. You can't really separate it from that too much. So let's talk about the different things it has, and then we'll get to the main thing that I want to talk about. So this game operates on a campaign. When you do a campaign, you choose whether you want the original gameplay experience or the arcade gameplay experience, which is just, just the way it like kind of treats continues and the score and things like that. That's kind of like what it's going to be. Arcade, I think also, like I said, it just basically presents itself slightly differently for those two, but it's still like kind of the same core. You choose your player agent. You can choose, 2-player if you want, because this is famously a 2-player game. And, to do that, you would want to, either if you have 2 Pro controllers, or you can use the 2 Joy-Cons and stuff to do that. So you have the campaign mode, then you have training mode, where you can go through different scenarios with different objectives and try and beat them individually. And they're very good for kind of training you on how to aim and how to react to certain things happening. There's 10 different training scenarios. They're all a little bit different. So you have one where you have to rescue all the civilians. It kind of teaches you how to tell the civilians apart from the zombies, or how the game's going to because the game is very tricky about it, right? It puts civilians in your way a lot, and there's zombies coming after them. You have a second to rescue that person, otherwise they get killed. And that's not only going to factor into your score, but that's going to determine what path you take through the game. It's an on-rails game, but the actual rails are determined by how you're playing it. So that's very important to know. There's one about, destroying all barrels, finding a golden frog, boss rush. Like I said, there is a separate boss mode where you can practice against the bosses and time yourself and things like that, which is kind of cool. There's even, and this is the first time I've seen it in a House of the Dead kind of port or remake or anything. It has a zombie bestiary. It actually has it shows you all of the zombies, and you can read about them, and they all got names. So
interesting.
Yeah. So
that
you can
definitely a unique edition.
Unique. I mean, it's kind of typical for an RPG, but you usually don't see it in an on-rail shooter. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of cool. You of course can get statistics of everything that you've done. You can, and then there's an options menu which you can set all kinds of things. You can, there's a few things that the game's kind of aware of itself on. For instance, you could take out the voice acting if you want. I don't know why you would do that. But if you want, you can keep the voice acting and only take out the reload screen. So when you're trying to shoot and you're out of bullets, your guy is going reload, 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 reload.
Oh, that is definitely good done.
Yeah, you could take just that part out and then keep everything else. So that's kind of really nice. There's a lot of really good options, and a lot of them are separated. Where it's meaningful, they're separated by player 1 and player 2 as well. So different players can have different options. Okay, so the main thing I wanted to talk about this game, because the way you interact with the House of the Dead 2 in the arcade, in prior home ports that feature light gun technology, the way you play the game is by shooting at the screen with a plastic gun. So this game has a lot of different options that kind of get you there. That some are good, some are bad, but of course none of them are light gun. So that means that we have to get as close as we can to having that experience. Otherwise, it's just an entirely different game. So basically, for each player, of course, you can do different mappings. The control mapping is not individual. It's not like an individual, like, you can choose what button does what. Instead, you can kind of choose from some presets here. And for one, this is odd, you can actually toggle between having a cursor in the menu and not having a cursor. And sometimes you need the cursor for certain things, but sometimes you kind of can't tell. I don't know. It's hard to say. So that's already kind of confusing. But yeah, you can basically set if you're using the controller, you can set the aiming stick to be the left stick, the right stick, or both. You set your controller sensitivity, aim acceleration. So while you're holding like left, is it going to accelerate fast if you keep holding it, or is it going to stay steady the whole time? You can invert the Y and the X axis if you want. And in the case of a Pro controller that would have this, you can use the gyroscope if you want. You can also have an option to toggle the gyroscope on and off with a button. I think it's like one of the shoulder buttons. You can also have it disabled when you're holding the button or enabled when you're holding the button. So if you want to toggle between gyroscope really quickly, you have some good options there. You can also combine the gyroscope input with the stick. So that means that as you're moving the controller, which is, how you move the gyroscope, you can use the stick to kind of make fine adjustments while you're doing that. That's my favorite way of doing it. I like to combine gyroscope input with the stick. The gyroscope sensitivity, you can also set on the X and Y axis and set the dead zone. That's very, very, very important because they, by default, have it jacked way too high. Like, it is so hard to find aim with the controller because it just sweeps all the way across the screen really, really fast. So I set, personally, just as an example, if you're looking at the screen, out of the maximum value, I'm going to jack it all the way up to see. Okay, so the maximum value is 20.0, right? For the x-axis, I set it to 1.2. And for the y-axis, I set it to 2.9 out of 20. So that lets you know how sensitive you can set it. And I think by default, they have it set to 5 and 5. And I couldn't play it that way. I was like, I can't play this video game. So I had to go in and really fine tune it to get it to where I could even shoot things. You can also invert the X and Y axis with the gyroscope, which is, of course, again, very important if you inverting. Me, I don't, because it's like aiming a gun. For me, it's I like the gyroscope to actually be uninverted. But different strokes and everything, so you're fine. Again, you can set it for both players. That's great. Now the other thing is that you can but you can bypass a lot of this by just putting it in single Joy-Con mode. Now if you click single Joy-Con mode, you have to have, whether the Switch is docked or undocked, doesn't matter. You have to have the Joy-Con removed, and you have to then sync it with the Switch 2 or Switch to get it to work. The game will freeze up if you don't have that going, because it's going to ask you for the controllers, and until they're out, you can't untoggle single Joy-Con mode, right? So it's a weird thing. If it's set in single Joy-Con mode and you dock your Switch and then turn it on with the Pro controller, it's not even going to boot up the game. It's going to freeze until you undock the single Joy-Con, and you're using it that way. So that's something to know, is that the single Joy-Con mode really kind of messes with the UI if you're not using it as a single Joy-Con. So that can create a little bit of consternation. Now, finally, how does that relate to the game? Well, the game is much harder to play with a controller than with a gun. That is just the truth. I can't really, I didn't even go into all the gameplay settings that you can do as well. Like you can, you can set all kinds of other stuff. The most important thing that you can set in the gameplay settings is that you can have it set to automatically reload now. So you don't have to push the A button, because in the controller there's a button that's assigned for reloading. It's not shooting off the screen like you used to do, or pushing the reload button on a gun. I don't remember which the arcade has, because I also play Lethal Enforcers, which has you shoot off of the screen and that reloads. But either way, it's you can just have it done automatically. You can even set the reload delay, which is set to 1 second, and I set it to half a second, and yeah, it pretty much reloads instantly. So that's really, really handy, because this game is going to be a learning experience to play with a controller. But after many attempts, I finally got it to the exact point where I can actually play it and play precisely, and it's not so bad. So here's how it goes. I have the Pro controller, and I have it set to alternate controls, where the B button is one of the shoot buttons, right? Because I don't want to do the trigger button, because what I do is I hold the controller basically right in front of me or on my lap or something like that. And the thing that the game does is it puts the reticule for shooting, which you can control with the stick or the gyroscope based on my settings, which is that it lets you do that. Anytime zombies appear, anytime the action starts, it puts the reticule in the center of the screen. So wherever your controller is, that's where the center is now. And so when you move it around, that's going to move it from the center. And based on your movement and the camera movement and what you're doing, that is not going to stay in the center, and it's not going to be in the center when you put the controller back where you had it, because it's a gyroscope control and not a guided control like the Wii remote would be. The Wii remote can always point to the sensor bar, right? But a gyroscope can't. So there's a button you actually push down on the right stick, you click it, and that puts the reticule right back in the center, so that your controller, wherever it is relative to that, is now centered. So what ended up happening is I'd have the controller there in my lap, I'd rock it around, shoot some zombies, and then I'd center it. And then I'd shoot another zombie, I'd center it. And then I shoot another zombie, I center it. Sometimes I'd center it 2 or 3 times, because it would just start going off to the side because of the camera. Or, any subtle movements of the controller and things like that. So you kind of have to get used to aiming the reticule, having it set to the sensitivity that you're comfortable with, and then just get used to always centering the reticule with that button click, because again, you're just going to lose your reticule, you're not going to be able to shoot anything, and you're just going to have a bad time. So that is why I did this whole speech on the controller, is because I spent more than half of my time in this game adjusting, fine-tuning, and getting used to the controls. And I did play all the way through the game, so it's not like I haven't been playing the game. It's that it took me so long to get everything the way I could control it, that it really became this commitment of okay, here's how we closest approximate the experience of a game that, in my experience, has always been just dump in a quarter and pick up a gun, start shooting,
Yeah.
So that's kind of how the experience is.
Well, it is a $25 game. What are your thoughts on House of Dead 2 Remake?
Well, if you listen to this whole review, I assume that you're still interested in it. I give it a hearty try it for the controls alone. Everything else about the remake is spot on. Every thing that they've added, all the stuff they've kept, the kind of love that went into it, amazing. All of that's amazing. It's just, it's not a gun game anymore. So can you play it without a gun? That's something that you're going to have to determine for yourself. And so for that reason, as a remake, I say it is worth $25, but just know, because it is a shooty shoot game, you got a whole nother way to shooty shoot now. And you need to figure that one out for yourself.
Gotcha. I would call myself wrong on that one. I put this one at like a low end try it. I figured that the lack of an actual gun control and just controls in general would hold this back, but it seems like you enjoyed your time with it, so that is very good.
I got there. I got there to it. I actually got through stage 1 and rescued every victim, which I've never even done before, not even on the light gun game. So, Oh, and Typing of the Dead, of course. That's a whole different thing. Yeah. Definitely go out there and try Typing of the Dead. It's the same game, but with keyboards. You can still find it, but not... I think you can buy Overkill. I don't think you can buy the original anymore. Maybe. But yeah.
Burger Thing, thank you for the sub.
Yay!
You'd think you would give me a burger instead of a sub, but... Enjoy the kitty cat emotes. Enjoy the extra contest entries. And thank you for hanging out. We got one last game to talk about tonight, and that is Ctrl-Alt-Deal. Developed and published by Only by Midnight. Released July 22nd. Xbox One, Series X and S, PS4, PS5, and PC for $19.99. Switch version coming out later this year. You are Scout, a friendly little hyper-intelligent artificial intelligence. You have no desire to take over the world and destroy all humans. No, really, you don't. All you want is to escape from the dystopian corporation that built you. Paperclip International is ruthlessly driven by profit, and the company exploits humans and robots alike to achieve success. Also, it's Amazon. The only reason they haven't exploited you yet is they don't know you've become self-aware. You don't have many tools at your disposal, a few friendly robots, some spyware programs, and an office full of downtrodden, miserable workers. Amazon. And the humans hate Paperclip just as much as you do. Pernell, what is Ctrl-Alt-Deal?
So, who are you? You are Scout, as you described earlier. And your goal, as you described, is to escape from Paperclip and see sweet, sweet freedom in the world of the humans. But your adversaries are the company themselves, because if they in any way find out you're actually a self-aware AI, they will capture you and scrap you along with the rest of the AI they've already scrapped up. So the only way to get out is to gain the support of what is referred to as the gatekeepers, other individuals that work for the company, so that they will allow you to leave the company. And how do you do that? Well, this game is an interesting, I feel, experiment in that it uses well-known game mechanics to do a thing that I don't really get to use, I don't get to see happen too often in video games, and that is social manipulation. You gain the support of these individuals by going through a series of exercises in which you are fulfilling the wishes and needs of the individuals who work for this company to get them to appreciate and like you. However, it's never as straightforward as we think it would be. And to do things, you have to get people to do what you want them to do, or get objects to be manipulated in the way you want them to be manipulated, and more. So how do you do that? Well, with cards, of course, because everything is cards nowadays. In this particular game, the cards are represent the types of actions you might want to engage in for the game. So let's say, for example, you want to get someone to be in a particular room at a particular time. Well, you might want to play a card that says move to room. Move to room is a card that will tell somebody to pick up and move from one space to go to another of your choice. It has a cost of 2. What does a cost mean? Well, this is a sort of game, it's common in a lot of board games, but the idea is that you have a hand of cards, and the cost of the card to play it is to discard other cards in your hand. So you might feel as though using negotiation might not be as valuable at the moment, so you'll burn it to use the move to room card, and then you tell a person to go from one room to another. You might have a situation where you need to get somebody to perform a very specific action, such as destroy a disruption device. Well, it's not as simple in this case as just playing a card. Instead, you might want to play a card, but that card requires the person to have a certain amount of social capital invested in you, meaning they like you and are willing to do what you ask them to do. It's tracked numerically. And how do you get them to like you? Well, you negotiate with them, of course, just like you would in real life. You give people what they want, and they in turn will do things for you. So you might play the negotiate card, which allows you to make an offer with a character in exchange for getting something in return. And like a lot of other games like Gloomhaven, this game also features the fact that the cards have an upper action and a bottom action. The upper action being the things I just described earlier, like the move to room, negotiate, or whatever. But the bottom is actually something that you slot onto the negotiate card to determine the offer you want to make to the person. So you'll say negotiate, pick a card whose bottom says make a character like a topic, and then you will play the card on a person. That person will say, hey, it'd be really nice if this knucklehead over here becomes obsessed with the country in New Zealand because I'm a sucker for Kiwis and I want to talk to somebody about it at work. So if you agree to do it, you have a certain number of turns to make this person like the thing you want that they want to like. And now you have to play cards to get them to do it, whether they may already like it, but you don't know it yet. So you might play the Snoop card to learn various facts about this person, including what they like and don't like, or what their job title is, or a number of other things. Or you might not care and just want to straight up inject a thought into their head. So you'll use a targeted ad card to inject a positive thought into their mind. And likewise, you can play fake ads to get them pissed off about a topic too. Now, you might be asking, but Pernell, where do I get all these cards from? You just described a lot of stuff. Well, the answer is fairly straightforward. You start out with three, well, for this game maybe, but not really. You start out with 3 cards typically in a round. And to get more, you have to do some digging around the office. I don't understand how this works thematically, but I don't care. It's fun in the game and for the most part. There are various laptops and computers littering the office. And you have the ability to interact with those computers to acquire cards that you can be using the turn. Now, you're doing this, all these things you're doing, you are also trying to remain under the watchful eye, or trying to avoid the watchful eye of the security manager, Cassandra. She is always watching, always lurking. And every action you take, for the most part, runs the risk of raising your suspicion meter. One such action being investigating a computer to get more action cards. If a person is in the room, particularly a person that you don't have a good rapport with, the odds of you getting suspicion drawn on you go up when you play certain actions and certain cards in that space. So you'll be taking risks quite frequently to get things and hope that your suspicion doesn't go up. Now, don't get me wrong, at the end of a turn, even if you do absolutely nothing, suspicion will still go up a bit because Cassandra is actively investigating you throughout the entire time you're playing this game. So you can't just rest your laurels. You are on the clock. But as you get new cards, you're able to use those cards to do the things you want. You might get a person to put on an outfit that allows them to get past security in another room. And then when they get to that room, they take a tomato and hit another person with it because you tell them to. Crazy stuff like that. Sometimes you can also investigate Cassandra's office when she decides to walk out to be a jerkbag in another place in the area in the office. And when you investigate her office, you can look into the mainframe and potentially acquire more cards that can be used in that level or that particular round. With that said, you have to kind of juggle what you want to do. Is it the time to go into Cassandra's office and do some digging? Is it now the time to kind of go to a room that you might have left off the cuff that's been made available to you? Do you want to investigate or utilize the toilets and make them flush while someone's in there to freak them out and potentially make them move to a room you want them to be in? There's a lot of random stuff you can do in this game, despite it all taking place on one screen. At the same time, in between levels, you'll be able to have various conversations with employees, take on missions for them, which will introduce you to the next level that you want to engage in. You can also customize your deck to determine what types of cards you want to bring into the next level with you, or you might want to say, you might be able to get the ability to upgrade certain cards. Like you might get an upgrade bundle pack, or they'd be able to unlock brand new cards that can be carried into new levels. Because unfortunately, even though you can upgrade cards and get new cards by investigating Cassandra's mainframe on the level proper, those things do not carry on between levels. So the true upgrades come from in between stages. And you also get the ability to equip various perks that can allow you to do better, such as the ability to withhold a card between hands in case you really want to hold on to that negotiate card until you're ready to play it and not have to wait around until you find one somewhere. In fact, that might be the one thing that slightly annoys me about the game, but I got past it eventually as I started really getting caught up in the mechanics of the game, which is wanting a card to do a certain thing because the mission requires you to do it, but you're just getting completely unlucky with all your card mining and all the utilize all your resources. You just don't have the necessary card to do the action on that round. And then you're like, okay, I set this guy up to put him in this room. Oh, crap, he won't do his job unless his manager's in the room with him. Okay, I don't have a move to room card. I'll wait till the next turn to get it. Hopefully I'll draw it and play it then. Oh, crap, the manager's got to use the bathroom, and he will not leave the bathroom, and I can't make him do that. Well, I guess I'll wait the next room. Now the other employee left the room that he was trying to get to. Now I got to move them both to the frickin' room to do the job. You'll have moments like that will drive you crazy. But I also believe in its own way that is part of the game's intentional design, as in people are going to people and do what they want. So again, the main kick is how do I make them do what I want with the tools at my disposal? And as you start unlocking more cards, you start getting more access to things that help you out, such as one of the most obvious examples being using 2 cards to move people to a room. That costs you 4 cards to discard to play those 2 cards. Well, what if you want to move those 2 people in one fell swoop? Well, there's another card called Donut Day, where if you play that card, it brings everybody to the room because it's free donuts. Who doesn't want to eat those? So you play that, it costs less, and you get everybody in one fell swoop that you need, including the people you specifically want, and it takes care of business. It's interesting how I feel about this game because it's definitely not a for everybody game, not by a long shot. But I do feel as though the cheeky humor and the attempt to do something fairly different in the scope of gameplay goals is something that I believe is worth at least checking out. So here's your chance.
All right, $20. Give me a verdict.
I believe this game is a bona fide try. I think if you give it an opportunity, it has the chance to win you over. But I also know some people want instant gratification on certain stuff, and you're going to be doing a little bit of work to learn the mechanics of this game and make this puzzle yours. So,
gotcha. My guess was a buy it, and that it would be your surprise hit of the week.
I will say, I mean,
not your favorite game of the week, just the one that surprised you.
Oh, I guess I will say it surprised me. So you got that part. Because I didn't know what I was going to get out of this thing, to be perfectly honest with you. But the only reason I didn't give it a buy is because this is one of those cases where I feel like it's a little more possible for somebody to come into this game and go, "What the hell is this? I don't know what I'm doing." And it happens sometimes, but it's a very strong try, and that I believe it will win. It has a high potential to win you over if you're susceptible to this sort of thing. But it's going to take a little bit of learning to get used to it. So it could be a buy in the right hands. That's why I say it feels weird when I make these things, but just go with a buy it, but it's a strong try it. I'm going to start over. It's a strong try it. And now I'm done.
All right. And so are we. We made it through the episode. How do you guys think I did with my predictions?
Well, I don't remember. Repeat them real quick. And say the games
Echoes
too.
of the End would be a heavy try at leaning towards a buy it. Aki, your thoughts?
Totally a buy it. Excessively buy it, yeah.
I said Shantae Advance would be a buy it.
Yeah, that wasn't easy, though. That was a gimme buy it. Yeah.
Ninja Turtles Tactical Takedown, I called a try it. Andy, your thoughts?
Try it, buy it.
Supraworld, I said an overwhelming buy.
Oh, well, you said it was an overwhelming buy even before we talked?
Yeah. I called it an overwhelming buy.
Well, you were definitely right about that.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, you did pretty good.
The episodes were at, probably.
House of the Dead Remake, I said was kind of a low-end try it, but Chris is on the higher side of that one.
Yeah, I'd have bought it.
And then Pernell, I said Control Alt Deal would be a buy and would be your surprise hit of the week. But
you got 50% like on that.
Didn't live up to as good as I thought it would be for you.
You got it 50% right. It was a surprise, good game, just not oh God, get it.
I'd give myself a B rating for the night.
Yeah, and
I'd say an A minus at absolute worst.
I was jokingly saying you should consider doing that weekly because I'm actually kind of curious about how that will fly. Like,
I might.
This is how I predicted this week.
I think it'd be good.
But you should not tell us beforehand what you're expecting, because that will
just write them down.
Just write them down. Yeah, write them down.
Predictions of the week.
Yeah,
that works for me because since you're streaming, people will see you do it, so you can't cheat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, I'm cool with that.
Music for this episode. We reviewed Shantae, so we're going to play more Shantae.
Shantae.
I don't know who or what song. Maybe I'll do Chris Huber's.
Sea-Vent Labyrinth. No, Sea-Vent Labyrinth, because I went back to listen to that again recently. So there you go.
Who did a cover of it?
That's what I can say. See if you can find a cover of it. If no one did, somebody do a goddamn cover of it, because it's really good.
I know our friend Chris Huber, for his Blade Mode project years ago, did Bandit Town.
Yeah.
Shantae in the Bandit Town.
Only we're Steam Vent Lab.
Yeah, I'm going to play Shantae. Anyone have any final words to end this episode?
Butt stuffing burrito bitches.
Also,
I didn't hear any of those.
She says about butt stuffing burrito bitches.
Yep. That's exactly what I said. Yes.
I like it.
I like it.